बैड डे एट ट्रेडिंग स्टॉक्स हाँ
हाँ यार.
बैड डे फॉर स्टॉक्स मे बी देख मैंने अपना
By now, you've probably heard about the big news that has hit the crypto market. The Shiba Inu NFT launch is finally here. Shiba Inu's founder announced that 10,000 Shiboshis or NFT tokens would be sold during the launch period. The launch will utilize the three tokens on the Shiba Inu ecosystem, namely SHIB, Leash, and Bone. There are even further reports that some amount of Shiba Inu tokens will be burnt during this period. How will the NFT launch affect the price of SHIB and other related tokens? Watch this video till the end to find out. There's a lot of exciting info available for you. We have a giveaway of 1 million Shiba Inu tokens for lucky viewers of this channel. To complete, all you have to do is watch the video to identify the secret message. Comment this message to stand a chance to win from the jackpot. Don't forget to subscribe because there'll be even bigger giveaways coming in the future. Will the NFT launch be the final push that Shiba Inu needs to reach 1 cent? What are the activities planned for this NFT launch? How is the entire Shiba Inu ecosystem involved in this brand? By now, you've probably
Blouses that magically match your saris, from trendy to traditional. Get them all at lowest prices. Grab your favorites today.
हाँ जी, कैसे हो सभी?
My thinking and drives my passion around it is like, if the internet gets a chance to get a native currency, what will that be? And to me, it's Bitcoin because of those principles, because of that creation story, because of its resilience, because of the number of tests it's been. But what inspires me the most is just the community driving it. It just reminds me of the early internet. It's the only reason that I have a career, because I learned so much from people like who are building Bitcoin today, and I continue to learn in that sense, and I'm so grateful for it.
So that's a good segue into the next question I'd like to ask you, Jack. Is you said before that Bitcoin changes everything. Can you speak more to that?
Well, I just think that a lot of what we experience in life, when you really get down to the foundation, a lot of our monetary policies, a lot of our monetary systems cause so much distraction and so much cost. And when you get to a system where you have the potential for people to truly own it, they can verify it themselves. You don't have to have trust going in. You don't have to trust it at all. You can verify it through source code or whatever your appetite is. And that any particular person can help drive the future of it. And at the same time, it's not controlled by any state. It's not controlled by any bank. It's not controlled by any corporation. And these three parties of people who participate in the network, people who mine, and also the developers, constantly debating the correct roadmap and the way forward, is a beautiful thing. And I don't know of many other consensus-based models that have existed at that scale for this long with this amount of success, and we're still fairly early. So when I met a woman in Ethiopia 2 years ago, and she was trying to create the lift for Ethiopia. Elon, I think I reached out to you at that time as well, because she really wanted some Teslas. She still has to take paper fiat cash from her passengers and pay all of her drivers in the same way, because there's no monetary system that she can utilize. There's nothing digital. And Africa as a continent is hugely interconnected from a monetary standpoint, but also hugely taxed in that same way. So a lot of the potential that I see, the internet having a native currency, helps her build her business in a much faster way. And also, if you consider something like Bitcoin existing before YouTube, before Twitter, before Facebook, a lot of the business models that we have today would not be the same. we would certainly not have the dependency we have upon the advertising business model if Bitcoin existed pre-Twitter. And I think the amount of business models that it enables, the amount of innovation it enables going forward, especially when you can consider the whole internet instead of going country by country by country by country, which you have to whenever you're doing with finance, it really just opens the aperture. And that is what I want to see in my lifetime is a currency that is standard and sound for the internet that everyone can use.
Great. A hallmark of
maybe you can also identify the range, something like that. But to be honest, I would actually much prefer this one right here. We got the high of the range, the bottom of the range, the high of the range, the bottom of the range, the high of the range. You get the point right now. So once again, we pulled into the range with a dump. And because of that, if I would go with the probabilities, once again, exactly the same as on Bitcoin, I would say we have a higher probability of actually breaking the range to the downside. But the thing is, right now, I am personally not shorting where we are at the moment because, of course, as I showed you before, actually, I didn't show you before. We are right now definitely at the key level in Ethereum. We are at the key level here. Actually, let me also go show you that. Ethereum right now, simply we are around the golden pocket here. If you would go and measure from low to high, you are definitely going to see, as of right now, we are trading at the area of the golden pocket and also at the area of our monthly Fibonacci pivot point. So if you would apply our monthly pivots, literally right now, Ethereum is trading around the monthly pivot here. Which once again, of course, consolidation at the support level, if you look like that, would once again, exactly the same as on Bitcoin, would be considered bearish. Yeah, I mean, let's just see right now if we do see a follow through. So, I mean, I'm going to go through the indicators in a moment right now for Ethereum. But as I said before, I would prefer right now another pull to the
Welcome, everybody, to the B Word. I'm Steve Lee, the lead of Square Crypto, and I'm here today to moderate a discussion about Bitcoin that will span from what makes it special to its relationship with energy, the community ethos, and the future of Bitcoin. I'm joined by three special guests. The first is Cathie Wood, founder, CEO, and CIO of ARK Invest. Next is Elon Musk, techno king of Tesla and chief engineer of SpaceX. And finally, Jack Dorsey, CEO of Square and CEO of Twitter. So we have a lot to talk about today. So let's get to the talk and get right to it. I'm going to start off by asking each of you a question, which is what's shaped and influenced your views on Bitcoin? And let's start with Cathie.
Okay, Steve, thank you. Well, the first thing was our focus on disruptive innovation. So starting in 2011, Brett Winton, our director of research, who I know will be on the program later, he started talking about this thing called Bitcoin at the time. And it was a curiosity as we were doing our brainstorms in research. But as we learned more about this open source ecosystem, that might fulfill the role of the payment system that the internet neglected to build into the system, not expecting commerce. We thought, this might be something. And then I became even more interested when I realized that my economics would come into play as well here. And Art Laffer, my mentor from USC, and a monetary scholar. In 2014, I asked him if he would collaborate on a paper on Bitcoin. And he was a bit of a naysayer at first, but agreed to read the paper. He read the paper, tore it up, and from an economics point of view, really wanted to understand this. And he said, I think you got something here. This is a rules-based monetary system. I've been waiting for this for my entire career. So the combination of disruptive innovation generally, economics on top of that, and the huge misunderstanding out there as to what this is, that was intriguing and launched our research effort.
Thank you. Elon, what's influenced your views on Bitcoin?
Well, I've thought about money for quite a while, obviously, since the PayPal days. And then the companies that preceded that, X.com, which I created, and Confinity, which Peter Thiel, Max Levchin, Luke Howry, and others created. When we combined the companies and made PayPal. So I've been thinking about money for a long time. And really, I think it's best to think of money as an information system, primarily an information system for labor allocation. And for practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, like very different databases in bank mainframes around the world. It moves quite slowly in reality. It seems to move fast sometimes, and it does with PayPal, which is real time. But the vast majority of the systems out there are batch processing. So the actual reconciliation may take 1 to 5 business days, sometimes longer. And you have the ACH system, which is ancient and still in operation, which is allows transfers effectively like a check would be an ACH transfer, but it's not secure. And you've got the credit card systems, which are also not secure. It would be like handing your username and password to a stranger in a restaurant if you buy a meal. So there's definitely an opportunity for something that is better from an information theory standpoint. So and there you can think of it like data on a network. I think is the way to view it. What has the most throughput? What has the least error? What drops the fewest packets? Fraud, for example, being a source of error. And government interference in currencies being a source of error. But it's fundamentally an information system. So I think it makes sense to support something that improves the quality of information with which we conduct the economy. And Bitcoin is a candidate for that. It does, I think, some things well, and it's obviously it's evolving, and there are additional things like Lightning being done on top of Bitcoin. But Bitcoin per se is mostly solving for scarcity, or rather solving for essentially having no throat to choke, decentralized. So there's no one who can be coerced in any way to empty their Bitcoin account. Well, I guess they could technically, but on an individual basis, but the system as a whole cannot. And it has an open ledger, which is also quite good. But transaction volume is low. Transaction cost is high, and usability for the average person is not yet very good. But it has a lot of potential. And I should say that, like, I'm not, and I apologize for taking a long time, but there certainly is a lot to say. In general, I'm a supporter of Bitcoin and the idea of cryptocurrency in general. But as I've said publicly, we do need to watch out for crypto taking, especially Bitcoin, using proof of work to maybe use energy that's maybe a bit too much and not necessarily good for the environment. So, but on balance, I support Bitcoin, and I'm not an investor. The only publicly traded stock I own is Tesla, and the only significant thing I own outside of Tesla is my SpaceX stock that could help create both companies. So, but apart from that, I do own Bitcoin, and Tesla owns Bitcoin, SpaceX owns Bitcoin, and then I do personally own a bit of Ethereum and Dogecoin, of course. So.
Okay, great. Thank you. And we'll get into some of those issues in more depth as well. Jack, how about you? What shaped your views of Bitcoin?
The network and the community. It's deeply principled. It's weird as hell. It's always evolving, and it just reminded me of the internet when I was a kid. And I encountered alt cypherpunks when I was fairly young, and this was a topic of discussion for years. I didn't touch it until 2008 when we started Square. Elon and teams at X and PayPal inspired a lot of what we were trying to do, trying to bring in more to a physical world. But we encountered this crazy predatory system that was slow, that was obtuse. And I think, one of the things that we tried to do, which X and PayPal also tried to do, is build an abstraction layer around this complication and around this predatory nature that the financial industry can tend to be, and make it work for people. But when I saw Bitcoin in 2009,
शिबा इनू जिसमें 100% का पंप देखा गया। हमारे सारे के सारे व्यूअर्स के पास पहले से ही शिबा इनू पड़ा हुआ था और वहां पर आज उन सब लोगों ने अच्छा खासा प्रॉफिट बनाया। हालांकि शिबा इनू को लेकर काफी लंबे समय से एक र्यूमर आ रहा है कि आने वाले कुछ ही दिनों के अंदर अंदर वो रॉबिनहुड एप्लीकेशन के ऊपर ट्रेड होना स्टार्ट होगा। बट अभी तक ऐसी कोई भी पुष्टि रॉबिनहुड एप्लीकेशन की तरफ से नहीं की गई है। बट बीती रात इलॉन मस्क की तरफ से एक ट्वीट आता है जहां पर वो शिबा इनू डॉग को लेकर एक ट्वीट करते हैं, एक फोटो डालकर ट्वीट करते हैं, जिसके बाद शिबा इनू के कॉइन में 100% तक का पंप यहां पर देखा गया है। आने वाले कुछ ही दिनों के अंदर अंदर हो सकता है कि हमें फ्लोकी और उसी के साथ साथ डॉज कॉइन के अंदर भी काफी बड़ा पंप दिखाई दे, क्योंकि इलॉन मस्क ने पिछले काफी लंबे समय से डॉज कॉइन को पंप यहां पर नहीं किया है। तो रहते समय से बटोरा जा सकता है और हमारे टेलीग्राम चैनल के साथ डेफिनेटली जुड़िएगा।
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, अभी कुछ ही दिन पहले मैंने आप लोगों के साथ डोजी कॉइन का वीडियो शेयर किया था। एंड अगर आप लोगों ने उस टाइम पर डोजी कॉइन के अंदर एंट्री ली होगी तो आप लोग अभी तक मोर देन 50% के बेनिफिट में होंगे। इसके साथ